What I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it over to Lindsay, and she'll give you her title and responsibilities, and then we're going to get to Rick also, who has a personal story he's going to share with us. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Hi, good morning. Lindsay Silverstein. I'm the Metro Vice President for the Northeast Ohio, including all counties from Ashtabula to Lorain down to Medina for the American Heart Association. Very excited because coming up very soon, in about 6 weeks, we have our Ashtabula Heart Walk, which is going to be taking place at Kent State University. And sitting next to me is this year's chairperson, Rick Sellup, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Sure, thanks, Lindsay. Yeah, Rick Sellup. I'm with Grand River Rubber and Plastics in Ashtabula. But more importantly, as Lindsay said, I'm the 2014 chair for the Ashtabula County Heart Walk. And I couldn't be more pleased to be serving the community and serving the American Heart Association as chair.
You know, I was on, I was appointed to a committee that Dr. Seeds had put together.
Sure, last year? Yeah, he was the chair last year.
But his meetings were always in the morning, and I could never make them because of this show.
Sure.
So I didn't really get a chance to serve, but I was very honored that I was picked to be a part of that thing, even though I didn't get a chance to but I think those walks, I think, were at the Spire.
They were, and they've been at Spire for probably the last 4 or 5 years. Previous to that, they were at Kent State, and it's interesting. First of all, we like to move it around a little bit. Spire did a great job, and was a great location. But one of the suggestions that we had from people was that they like to bring their pets, their dogs, and at Spire they couldn't do that. So this year we decided to move it back to Kent State. Sue Stocker, Dean Stocker, has been very supportive of having us bring it back to Kent. And so we're excited. May the 3rd, Saturday morning, 8 o'clock. We'll be set up in the gymnasium there in case of inclement weather. But I am promising everybody that comes out to the walk that we're going to have a beautiful spring day. Spring will come to Ashtabula County.
I hope so soon.
Soon, so do I.
Rick, this is an outside walk.
It is an outside walk.
And how long is it?
It's 1 or 3 miles, and that's a change for us this year. It's actually on a Saturday. It's always been on a Sunday.
Yes.
So by moving it to Kent State, we also listened to a lot of feedback, and this is our first year ever doing a Saturday.
And if it is bad, it would be, is it rain or shine or?
Rain or shine, but the festivities, so that starts at 8 o'clock a.m., the festivities. So we have a festival, a kid zone, a dog corner, and then lots of areas through our sponsors that you can learn how to be heart healthy with your family. And that starts at 8 o'clock. And then 9 o'clock we kick off the heart walk, and you have the option of doing a 1 or a 3 mile.
What's a dog zone?
Just where the dogs can go. There's always area for them to get some treats, and then for them to have some water, as well as so they can get hydrated before they take the walk as well.
Me too. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
That's cool. I think that's great. I think that this is a tremendous program. It really, truly is. And you have a personal story, Rick.
Yeah, I do. First of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Seeds and Jocelyn Seeds for the great job they did last year.
They did.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
We all know how busy Dr. Seeds is and Jocelyn, but they stepped up and really Bill had asked me while he was chair last year if I would consider doing this, and quite honestly, his personal request, his personal ask was a big part of my decision to go ahead and do it. And of course, my wife Dixie's helping as well, and she couldn't be with us this morning, but she's a great partner and a great help, and I think Saturday, May 3rd, when we're both there walking proudly at the front of the line, I hope we'll have had a great turnout. But the other reason that I got involved, agreed to be chair of the Heart Walk this year, is that I'm a heart survivor.
Okay.
And actually, there's a history of heart disease in my family. My grandfather on my mother's side passed away from a heart attack. My father had a heart attack at age 48.
Wow.
And survived and went on to live to the ripe old age of 76. And actually, in 2007, one day after my 58th birthday, I had my aortic valve replaced.
Okay.
So since 2008, for the last almost coming up on 6 years, I've lived a life with a cow valve in my heart, and it's amazing to me what modern medicine has invented or gotten to.
A buddy of mine had, I think, is a pig valve that they use. And he's doing wonderful.
Yeah.
He's doing fine.
Yeah, you know, mine came on pretty suddenly. They were concerned that I had developed an infection in my heart. Turned out I hadn't, but certainly had to have the valve replaced.
Sure.
It's kind of a funny story. I think it was funny anyway. As I'm coming out of the anesthesia in the ICU, you know, I had expected that my chest would really hurt because obviously it's open heart surgery.
Sure.
But as I started to move and kind of take inventory, my legs were just killing me, and every time I moved my legs, I thought I was ripping skin. I couldn't understand it. And you know, I'm groggy, and I mean, it really hurt. And finally, the doctor came in, and I said, Dr. Markowitz, I said, gee, first of all, glad I'm alive.
Right.
Want you to know my chest hurts a little bit, but it's okay. But my legs are just killing me. What happened? He said, well, you know, I looked at your charts and looked at your history, and I was standing there with your heart in my hand, which is an image that stuck with me ever since he said that.
Sticking with me right now.
Yeah, and he said, I realized you had a little blockage on the backside of your heart, so I thought, oh, what the heck, I flipped your heart over and I did a bypass for you. So I guess I had a twofer that day.
No kidding.
So what was killing me, what was hurting so much in my legs was obviously where they had harvested the veins to do the bypass.
Yeah.
So anyway, come to find out later on when I went to see him, because they hadn't pre-approved the bypass, he never got paid for it.
No kidding.
So I may be one of the few that's ever had a free bypass.
Oh, probably ever.
Ever, yeah.
Wow. I was going to say, I mean, they didn't have to, only because I'm curious, I ask you this.
Yeah.
They didn't have to ask permission for the family, or?
Well, I guess he would rather ask for forgiveness than permission, I guess, you know, as the saying goes. But
wow.
I certainly appreciated that. But again, I think it's just a miracle in my mind. And
it's a great story.
I'm expected and should live a long and fruitful life because of the surgery.
So you're still working?
I am, for another year. Actually, my partner, Joe Misnick, and I have announced our retirement of March 31st of 2015. So
okay.
Another, just a little over a year and a few days to go. Not that I'm counting the days yet.
So you'll be about 66 when you retire,
I'll
right?
be turned 65 this November, so I'll be 65 and a half.
Yeah.
Right. It's time. I've been at Grand River Rubber since 1976, and so it's a long time.
Yeah. Where you live at?
In Geneva.
In Geneva.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. That story really gets me.
Yeah.
Wow. And the poor man didn't get paid.
Yeah,
the doctor.
Right.
That's
right.
amazing.
So so anyway, because of the heart disease history in my family, and because I truly believe without the work of the American Heart Association and how they help advance the science of curing heart disease, I may not be here today. I might not be sitting here today.
But you're giving back now. You know?
I am. Yeah, absolutely.
And then you're paying it forward, and I think that's a good thing. I'm glad that you got involved in that. Yeah, I know Dr. Seeds and Jocelyn were very, very into it. And it was kind of funny, he told me, there was a gal here in Conneaut that had a massive heart attack, very young girl, like in her early 40s.
Wow.
And she survived, but Dr. Seeds met her at the Heart Walk last year, and he said it was just breathtaking to him because he was so happy to see that there's some good stories out there in this technology. You know, the technology, Lindsay, has changed so much. We have come a long way, just like what Rick is saying.
Absolutely, and that's what's so important about the American Heart Association. We are touching the community every day through the healthy choices that are at the schools, through the advocacy that's helping, through CPR requirements that the American Heart Association is setting forth, but it's also the research. And in this Northeast Ohio section, we are right now funding $9.2 million worth of research in our area. So for every $1 that we raise, $3 coming back to our area, which is a pretty phenomenal return on investment for this part of the world.
I remember, I always tell this story, my mother-in-law, who's passed now, but 30 years ago, she had a defibrillator box, they called them then. It was in her stomach. Now they have defibrillators that are this big that they put right here. You know, it's amazing the progress. And that poor lady had to go through that her whole life, you know, with that thing there. But it saved her life, you know.
You know, when my father had his heart attack in 1970, he instantly knew what was happening. And so he laid down on the office floor and put his feet up on a chair and called to his secretary to call an ambulance. Turns out the hospital was just 2 blocks away. And in his case, he was told that he was the first heart attack victim that the doctors had ever seen still going into his heart attack. He hadn't bottomed out yet. The doctors told him that when they get people in that had had a heart attack, they either bottomed out and were started back up or had died. And so they got a chance to observe somebody still going into
Wow.
the heart attack.
Wow.
But that shows how far research has come. I mean,
Yeah.
back then, even in 1970, where you think we were fairly advanced at that time.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So,
You know, Lindsay, I'm going to ask you too. Now, how do you raise monies at this? Well, I don't get into particulars on this, but earlier. But how do you raise monies for this walk?
Sure. So we work with companies as well as families to put together what we call teams, and or I mean, there's opportunities for sponsorship for companies as well. But one thing that I want to give kudos to is the radio station's doing something really fantastic as
Okay.
well. You guys, if you go to www.heart.org/Ashtabula County Walk, and anybody who makes a donation on the Conneaut telephone page gets entered into a raffle for some fabulous items. I know that there are tickets to some games, there's some signed items, and there's just a whole wealth of opportunity for some fabulous people individually that can come. And the walk is free, so there is no registration. So even if you make a donation to the Conneaut telephone page, you are more than welcome to just come out to the Whole Heart Walk. Anybody and everybody, we do want you to come. So it's really donations which are driving it. Some people are doing stuff at their office, which they're doing heart healthy lunches or what we like to call wraparounds, but individuals are also going online, setting up their own page or donating to others as well.
Yeah. Now, say if Pat Williams wanted to walk in this thing, is there an entry fee?
No entry fee whatsoever.
Just show up and walk, or do it?
Just show up and walk, and then of course we'd love for you to either donate to the Conneaut telephone page. Rick has his own personal page, so you can go onto his page as well. Or one of the teams, just in general, we have over 44 teams, or I should say companies, and or plus family and friends, so a lot more than that. You can choose one of those, or you can start your own. And welcome for you to call me at the American Heart Association. It's 216-619-5152. Again, Lindsay is my name, and I can help you get registered. Or as I said, just make a donation onto any of the team pages at heart.org/Ashtabula County Heart Walk.
Yeah, and Pat, I'd like to mention we've had just great support from corporations here in Ashtabula County.
Fantastic.
I've got just a phenomenal executive leadership team, people that volunteered to work with me to raise money, and we're doing great so far. And we've got a goal of $130,000.
Do you really?
Yeah. And it's a lot of money, but I'm hoping we're going to get there. But more importantly, to me, I'd like to see 1,000 people turn out on Saturday, May the 3rd at Kent State. I've done this walk many times. It's a great thing to do with friends and family. It's a great cause. It's a lot of fun. We're going to have a beautiful spring day. I promise you that. And I just hope people turn out, because it's a great event. It's a great organization. They touch lives every day here in Ashtabula County.
Sure.
And all I can say is thanks to everybody that supported us so far, and thanks to those that will support us in the future. You may call me at Grand River Rubber, 998-2900. I'd be happy to talk to anybody about why I'm participating, why I'm trying to provide some leadership this year, and why it's important to come out and walk.
I want to thank both of you for coming in, and thank you both for what you do. I mean, this is such a great project and program. I'm with you, Rick. I'm hoping that you have a tremendous turnout that day.
Thanks.
And I'm counting on that sunny weather too, and warm,
Absolutely.
hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you.
You know, both of you did a tremendous job.
Thanks,
and
Pat.
you're coming back, I think.
I am, next month.
Okay.
Yeah, get to do it all over again.
Okay, we'll do it
I'll
all
try and
over
come
again.
up with another story.
Okay, all right, whatever you want to do.